Hi, welcome back this week. Welcome. I'm Kez. It's Phil. If you don't know us, if you're coming back, then fantastic. This week we are going to be doing this nose on this little boy. I'm going to show you how to navigate around doing the different skin tones and underneath the nose and around the nostrils and stuff. A lot of people assume you have hard lines, but you really don't. It's lots and lots of soft shading. So bring your pyrography pen and a lot of patience this week. So do you want to give me the other camera, please, sir?
Yes.
Thank you very much. What I have here is the eyes that we've done in previous weeks, and we're just about to do the nose. We're going to start with the nostrils because, excuse me, because that's the darkest part first. It's easier to blend from darker to lighter with a pyrography pen because when they naturally go, when you put them on the wood, they are darker, and as you move across the wood, the heat takes out the heat, so it naturally gets lighter.
The heat takes out the heat. You mean the
wood?
takes
Yeah,
out
okay.
the heat.
Hey, I'm not technical. Come on. The wood takes the heat out of the pen, is what I meant to say. Okay, so I'm just shut up, you. Oh my gosh, he's always got something to say. Okay, so we've got just the normal rounded tip. You can use whatever tip you feel comfortable with. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Just whatever you're comfortable with. I have got my machine on a number 3, and I'm just about to turn that on. So I've got on this pen, let me just get this camera to focus a little bit. Okay, so I've got on this pen, this tip, is this side here is slightly squarer, whereas the other side is slightly rounder. It's not bringing it, is it? Has it got it? Oh, I think it's just about got it there. So you can see it's just ever so slightly. Now what I'm going to do is use the corner bit. Now if you're using a spoon shade or anything like that, you can just use the tip. That's absolutely fine.
Are you going to zoom in a bit so that people can see actually what you're doing?
Yeah. Get in there. Give me a minute. So we're going to zoom in.
Can't get the stuff.
My staff keep bossing me around. Okay, so you can just see the nostril here and the nostril there where we've transferred it down. So what I'm going to do is just with this slight tip, with this tip, on a slight angle, and we're just going to do soft shading in there, and we're just going to brush it along very gently.
Oh, while you're doing that, we'll see who's in out in the chat, shall we?
Yes, please.
Well, first and foremost today was Alex, Whistle the Wood Butcher.
Hi, Alex.
Andrew from HEK Woodworks.
Hey, Andrew. And Debbie, if you're listening.
Bitten.
Hi, Bitten.
And Ward Wilson from the west coast of Arizona.
Hi, Ward.
And at the moment, that's all you've got.
That's okay.
And Bitten's happy to be here on the right day.
Yes.
Restarted my computer 5 times yesterday, then found out it was today.
That is brilliant. I actually got, for anybody in the chat, I got a message from Bitten yesterday saying, are you not going live today? And she got the wrong day, bless her. So we've done this side, and just under that line, under here, is actually just a little bit darker. So we're just going to go over an extra layer, just so you can see the difference.
And our Kez monitors here. Keep it classy himself.
Huey. Hi, Huey.
And Ivan Cottrell's joined us.
Hi, Ivan. And what we're going to do is we've just done a second layer on that bit underneath the nose, but I'm going to leave the bottom bit of that curve with just the one layer, just because it is slightly lighter. I'm going to do the same the other side. Just bring it across ever so gently. Now, the pressure on this pen is literally just the weight of the pen. I am not pushing this pen into this wood at all. There's no pressure. It's just the weight of the pen, and I'm just moving it with my fingers. So just bringing that in, and we're just going to add.
Yeah, Huey says, keep it classy on parade.
Yeah. Just adding one layer on the bottom, but then we're going to add another layer on the top. Now, with this nostril, you can actually see it comes, the inside comes down just a slight bit in there, just ever so slightly darker, just there. So we're just going to bring that down like that. Okay, now where we're going from here is we're going to bring the nostril into the middle bit of the nose. I don't know what the middle bit of the nose is called. Does anybody know? So we're going to go from the darker to the lighter, because it's easier to blend from darker to lighter, as I said earlier, with a lot of confusion from Phil. His fault. It's easier to blend from darker to lighter. So just bringing it in either side.
Jamie's joined us.
Hey up, Jamie.
And he says he's headed to workshop now. Can you stop for 5 minutes?
No.
And Malcolm Douglas has joined us.
Hi, Malcolm. So we're bringing that bit in there nice, softly, softly. It's no pressure.
Alex says bridge, question mark. I thought the bridge was further up.
Not the bridge, the bottom bit I said. Did I say bridge?
No, you didn't. It's
Yeah,
for holding on to when you sneeze.
your bridge there.
Apparently.
Is it? Is that what it is? I don't know. I know they have it pierced, and I can't remember what they call it when they have it pierced.
No idea.
No, I can't remember.
Can't help you.
No. So where we're going to go from here is we're going to go underneath the nostril bit. Right, actually, I'm going to turn this down. So this is on a 3, and I'm going to turn this down to a 2.5. And I'm just going to use the curved section rather than the bit with the pointy bit on, because I want soft shading. There we go. So that's going in nice and light. So just bringing that in for that, underneath that nostril there. Now it is actually a bit darker from there to the outside. Eh?
We have a bow.
A bow where?
A bow interfering with the camera.
Oh, sorry. It's because I've had to push the board forward. My bad. So just going to add an extra layer on there.
Well, apparently it's the apex.
What's an apex? Is that what it's
That
called?
bit of the nose.
Ah.
And Hank Huey says it's a place for few drops to form.
Ah. Apex.
Learn something new every day.
You certainly do. You certainly do. So we're just going to darken this bit down ever so slightly. So I'm going to do circular.
Well, Huey says septum.
Septum. I know they have it pierced. I just can't remember what it's called. I'm going to go over the top of this nostril, just here, with the circular motions, only ever so lightly. So this is on a 2.5, and the pressure on the pen is literally just the weight of the pen. I'm just doing circular motions. With the technical name for circular motions is actually scrumbling. I do know that bit.
Well, Malcolm says he had a school teacher, Nick, nicknamed Dewdrop because of that.
Really?
Because
it dropped out. Brilliant. So just going around here. So just a little bit darker under there, actually. Just inside that nostril. There's just a shade darker. So we're just going to add that bit in. When you're looking at skin tones, you're looking at many different tones, and there are lots of light bits and lots of darker bits. And especially with white skin, there is so many colours and so many tones that you don't think could ever be possible. So you just have to look out for those, and then you're looking out for like the contours of the face and the skin in general.
Ali says, well, Phil, have you had fun yet?
Yes, he bought his his thingamajig.
What should we call it?
What do you call it? Yeah, 3D printer.
3D printer. No, mate, it is still in the box. I've got orders. I've got to do the desk first.
Yeah. Yeah, once he's done the desk, he can get it out and play. So just light circular motions, just darkening down this little bit here.
I think by the time we finally get it set up, the kids will have a list of things they want 3D printed before I get a chance to do anything for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, they will. You know it. So just going to go over this side, doing a little bit of scrumbling motion in there, circular motions in that part of the nose, because there's a little shadow, a little bit of a shadow just on that part of the nose there. And then we're going to bring this down. It will look a little bit weird for a little while, but it will all come together. Just trust the process.
Andrew wants to know which one did I get. A1 Mini, mate.
Just bring in that shadow off that nostril down, just there like that. Like I say, ever so light touch. No pressure at all. I think I'm going to actually bring that bit down as well, because I think that one needs to come down just a little tad. Just with an extra layer of shading. When you put your shading in, you can always go back. Quite often I'll do a little bit and then I'll do the other side or wherever I'm doing, and then I'll go back over. Sometimes I can do like a whole piece like this bit here and then go back to the eye that I started originally, just to add a little bit extra in, because sometimes it's better to do it and then come away, do something else, and then re-look at things. It's just a natural process. I think everybody does that.
In other words, you notice bits you missed.
Yeah. He said it's simpler than me. Told you, I'm not technical. So just add in.
Of course, it's simple.
I vote for that. So just add in some extra shade on the tip of this nose here. Actually, the tip of this nose has got a catch light only ever so slightly up here. Quite often you end up with a catch light on here and then down the side of a nose, but the way that this is, it's got a catch light on a lighter bit of skin on the bridge and then just on the tip, just onto one side. So we're going to be making sure that we avoid that catch light there. So just bringing that in for that nostril on the other side. Actually bring that down a little bit actually. And then where you've got the nostril that comes around, what we're going to do is we're actually going to shade the cheek a little bit more rather than the nose, because we're going to get the colour of the skin on the cheek, because you can see there's actually a dark patch just around here. So to get the nostril looking right, we need to shade the cheek first. So we're going to start up here. And that there has gone a little bit dark, but not to worry, it'll blend in nicely. Well, I'm not worried about it anyway. So I'm just going to add.
Neither does anybody else, because they'll just have a laugh if you mess it up.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to show everybody how to correct it.
Yeah, it's no problem. Right, so this bit of wood here has got like a bit of a grain in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just doing downward strokes just to get the burn in the grain. It's just the way it's, that you can see up here, it's just the way it's coming down, that's all. So what we do is try and not hide the grain a little bit, but just to get the burn in the grain, because sometimes there's just bits that just won't sand. Well, it will sand, it just sticks up a little bit. So we're just going to go with the grain and just gently bring that bit down. So just bringing that there. So there's none there now, so now we can go circular. There we go. Add in an extra layer just there.
Jamie says you can start now.
I can start now. Thanks, Jamie.
Alex says, until you've done that nose, I never even noticed that was a bit darker than the rest.
No, you don't. If you look at the actual picture itself on the screen even, you've got the darker parts down here. And that's basically what you're aiming with, is that, you know, the darker parts are actually further back here than the actual tip of this nose. So that is why that's lighter and they're darker. Let's go up here. Bring that down because we've got that bit in that wood still. So we're just going to bring that down because, as you can see, you've got this bit heat coming down here. It's actually, you can't really see it too well on camera, but it's actually burning darker, faster than the bits either side. So what we need to do is burn the bits either side a little bit more and just add in an extra layer onto the bits either side, so now it's blended in nicely. Look. It's all about sort of lots and lots of blending, lots and lots of shading, lots and lots of layering. What I'm going to do is just going to turn this up slightly. So I'm on 2.5 and I'm just going up to 3. So we're bringing that bit.
And why have you gone up to a 3?
I've gone up to a 3 just to get this bit darker, just a little bit faster, because otherwise I'll probably be still here at midnight. So just slowing down and bringing it a little bit darker. Now I'm bringing it down from there, down in the downward motion, which is actually called hatching. I'm bringing it down motion just because, one, the grain of the wood, and 2, that is the way that the skin lies, and it doesn't lie like that, but it looks like that shadow comes that way. So if you do things in the way of the shadow, it gets rid of the ugly stage just that little bit faster, because you can build up and you don't get so disheartened with things looking weird for too long. So definitely for noses, because they can look really weird.
Looks at the moment like you've got a second set of eyes.
Where?
Down the bottom.
No, it doesn't. It's like a nose. Well, it will look like a nose. So sweeping that motion there and then across onto that section, and then we're going to bring it around the nostril. Now this is one of the reasons why I love this tip so much, because I have got the wide sections that I can do that, and it goes in nice and gently. You can see that section there burning just a little bit faster again. So just going to make sure that we correct that now rather than wait until later, because otherwise I'll just forget about it. There are lots of different shading techniques, and I use many of them on one piece. There isn't one that I favour more than another. It's just about changing and moving to suit whatever you're burning, really. So I'm just going to darken this little bit down here. That's it. There you go, it's starting to look a little bit, it actually looks a little bit like a pig nose, doesn't it, at the moment? But we'll sort that out. We just got to add some shading in, extra shading. So we've got a little bit there, just where the nostril goes in.
And Rabbi's joined us.
Hi, Rabbi.
It feels great to watch you guys live again.
Brilliant. Nice to have you join us again. So I think we seriously need to look at something like Zoom so we can actually have conversations with people. They can actually ask questions, you know, not typing. What do you reckon?
I think that's a plan at some point.
Yeah.
We'll look into it.
Yeah. So just adding in the extra bit of shading.
Something else for me to learn, I suppose.
Yeah. He's my technical guy. I'm not technically minded. He is, as you can tell. I have new technical words. So just gonna add a little bit going around here. Just the extra layer of shade. We have it that bit, and then we're going to add an extra layer in just there. Just being careful not to darken it too much. So now there's just the shade that goes in this nose. It's actually making it look like a piggy nose at the moment, but we're just going to add the extra layer in, just gently. Gently adding the layers just gives you more control. A lot more control. If I was to just go in and, you know, darken it straight away, I could darken it too much, and I don't want to darken it too much. Whereas this way you keep going backwards and forwards and adding the layers. Yes, it takes a lot more time, but it's more beneficial in the long run. So just adding a bit under that nostril actually, because that just needs to be a little shade darker. There we go. And this side too. So as you add, so I started off with that looking like it was, the nostrils were really black. But as we've added the layers, it's actually made it so it doesn't look quite so black. So then you add just a little bit more in those sections as you need them. Going over the top there.
And don't forget, guys, if you got any questions, drop them in the chat with the Q at the beginning.
Yep, please do. Always happy to answer questions. Well, depending on what they are, but yeah, questions about pyrography. So just bringing that bit there. Right, so what I'm going to do is go onto this cheek here. So bringing that down, just like we did on the other side. And then around the side of the nostril. Well, it's not a nostril, it's the nose, the flappy bit of your nose. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what it's called. Let's darken that down a little bit. I use a mixture of mark making, as you can see. There we go. Just whatever suits at the time. Sometimes a line suits and sometimes a circular motion suits. And in some cases a stamp. Oh, my head's in the way again. Keep eating my head on the camera. Anybody got an exciting week coming up? What you all doing? Just going to add an extra layer in there. Just because I think it needs it.
Bitten says, I have trouble making eyes very dark without making marks in the wood. It is like the wood is bold.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get darker.
Okay, so what number have you got your machine on, Bitten?
She says, does it make any sense, my question?
Yes, it does. Yes, I know exactly what she means. I just want to know what number you've got your machine on.
Number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so when you are starting off doing eyes, start off with your number 3. And as you layer and you find that they're not going dark enough, turn up to a 4. Turn up to a 4, but just be gentle on the wood. Be gentle not to press in. In some respects, you can get little tiny marks, but what you don't want is the big gouges. As you layer really, really dark. I mean, on this, I can actually run my nail across it and I can feel a little bit where the eyelashes have gone into the wood ever so slightly. What you're aiming for is just to not have a piece of scrap wood here. Aiming not to have a sort of like, bend that now, what? Really sort of bend that back. Oh, bend it back anyway. Is really sort of like deep gouges that you could really sort of stick your finger in. Okay, but if it is just a little bit, then that's fine. If you're unsure, do it on a piece of scrap wood first. Let's say you can turn up and down as you need. I hope that answers without confusing. So just going to still adding layers into this part of the cheek, because this part here is the bit that's obviously further back. And then the actual nose itself. Doing a nose isn't always just about doing the nose. You have to do the bits around the nose.
It's the surrounding shading that actually brings the contours of the nose out.
See, he's more technical than me.
Yeah, rather than actually placing outlining the nose, you actually form the outline with the shading around it. Yeah, because
quite often, you think, oh yeah, it's a nose, I'll draw it, and you kind of draw it on, whether it's with pencil or a pyrography pen, and you outline it, and it just looks like somebody's cartoon nose. It's not realism, but it's just simply getting the shading right around it rather than actual drawing it on. Because if you think about, if you look at either you look at yourself in the mirror, or you're looking at somebody else, or your kids, grandkids, or whatever you're looking at, you don't see any hard lines on within realism. Put my teeth in a minute. Just about getting those shades in.
Bitten says, thank you. I gave up on Mel Gibson. He was not cooperative. There were so many. Oh, bums.
What?
Yeah, B-U-M.
Is that
B-S.
bumps?
Yeah, it could be bumps. So I have now started a new one.
Brilliant. But even though you've given up with it, you've learned so much by doing it.
And JP says, I guess if you go too dark around the nose, it would make the nose look really long.
Yeah, yeah. And especially this one's quite a short button nose. You just want to press it. Yeah, boop on the nose. This bit here is a bit darker. So you've got the darker bit going around here, but then as it gets to here, it's starting to lighten off. But then you've got the shadowy bit that comes up underneath.
Bitten says, sorry for my English.
No,
don't worry about your English. We can only just about manage it.
Yeah, don't worry about your English. You're absolutely fine. So,
I will guarantee we'll be a lot worse at your native language than you are with ours.
Yeah. So just adding these extra layer in there because that is what it requires. And then I'll do a circular motion, it's easier. Going over the top here where the shadow is. I was trying to do a long stroke across there to get it so it curved, but it just, the pen didn't want to go that way.
And Bitten says, yes, next one will be better. Brilliant. And Jamie says, we can understand Huey's English, so we can understand anybody.
Yeah, that's the one. So bringing that down off here. So actually that nostril there is actually, you can see it's got a little highlight on it, but I'm just going to bring that in a little bit because I think it's flaring on here just a little bit more than I'd like. So there we go. There we go. And that's looking okay. Got a line that's going all the way down there, a white one.
The timber's not cooperating.
No, it's not today. But it's fine. Just got to get it in there. There we go. A little bit better. Coming off that bridge there.
So, Ivan has the same problem. Watching your videos, I started on number 3 and gently coloured the area.
Yeah.
I then went to number 4 as it was not getting darker. Going over it does not get any darker.
Yeah, sometimes it actually depends on what your machine is. I find that
what the timber is.
Yeah, it does depend on what your timber is as well. I also find that with the Peter Childs machines, a 4 on my machine isn't always a 4 on somebody else's machine. So yeah, just literally just play around with the temperatures. Try on a piece of scrap wood. Say I start off really low and then I'll layer. If I find that it's not going quite as dark as I want, that's when I'll turn it up and then try it again. And then hopefully that's normally what sort of like gets me to the stage that I need. Sometimes trying to explain it on a video is not always easy until obviously like you ask a question and then you kind of think about it and they go, oh, there's your answer. But yeah, just turn it up slightly if you need be. You don't need to stick at the same temperature. If that temperature is not working for you, turn it up, turn it down. Absolutely, up to you what you want to do.
Yeah, and different woods respond differently.
Yes, they do, definitely. So we are gonna, I'm just gonna add some lines into that there, just to smooth that out a little bit. I can just see where I've gone circular. So I'm just gonna smooth this out a little bit with lines. I'm going with the grain to make sure it stays in the grain, because there's a few little bits that are, I think it's where the grain is just slightly harder in some places. It's never uniform because obviously it's a natural product. Right, so we've got a bit of a square going off here, and that is not what we want. So we're going to take from this, we're going to start off it here because it's darker. I normally start off in a dark area, and what we'll do is circular motions over the top of this nose, just to blend that in.
Ah, right. So Ivan says, I think it might be the wood. This is the Russian doll club challenge.
Oh, right,
But
okay.
the burn feels waxy. I'm not sure what those Russian dolls are made out of.
Yeah, I've got one of those on the window ledge in the kitchen.
When she eventually starts it, she might be able to tell you.
Yes, yes. I will be starting that this week. Yeah, so I might have an answer for you next week, Ivan. But yeah, they're like you know the plywood blanks. They're like the plywood blanks, but they're not. It's really, really weird, and it looked as if it was like tulip, but then it didn't quite match tulip. It was, I don't know. I don't know whether they're layered like ply, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't think they are.
No, I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm going to fetch one and we'll have a look.
You're going to fetch it? So I'm not quite sure what the wood is, you see. So, and when you buy them like that, they just sort of they just state that they're hardwood or something like that. Or you know, it's just a Russian doll set. It doesn't actually say exactly what the wood is. So I don't think even manufacturers know. Have you got it?
I got it.
So this is what we're talking about. So at our local wood club, we've been given, well, we haven't been given, we've paid for these Russian doll sets. And there is obviously the Russian dolls. There's a few dolls in there. And what we've got to do is it's a challenge to do a project out of them. So we've got to decorate them in pyrography. Ooh, that's horrible noise.
Squeaky.
Eek, horrible noise. Yeah, but we're not actually quite sure exactly what the wood is. It's so it looks a little bit as if it could be like tulip, because they're ever so light, but they're hollow, so you'd never know, would you really? But I don't know. Not sure. Not sure.
Yeah, I'll say it does look very tulipy.
It does. It does. Say, and tulip's really light as well, isn't it? So, but you'd never be able to tell really because they're hollow. So, right, where was I? I was going over this nose. So, still going over this nose. I'm going over the top here. So we've got a little catch light just here, so we're going to miss that bit out and just go over the top.
Alex says poplar as well. Poplar is tulip.
Yeah.
They look very, very much like poplar.
They do, yeah. Poplar, when sanded flat, is absolutely brilliant to burn on. You just have to be careful because even though it's a hardwood, it is quite soft, and your pen sinks in a little. But I think with these, because they're rounded, they're not harder to sand, but they are harder to get really, really flat for pyrography. So, because normally on poplar, because it does go a little bit fluffy-ish, what I do is I get a card scraper and I'll scrape down just to flatten all the grain. And that works really, really well. But obviously on that, I can't do that. So we were going over this bridge bit here. I keep forgetting what I'm doing.
That's because you've gone off subject.
Yeah, distractions. You'll be fine. It'll all be done in the end. So, bringing that down there.
And JP says them Russian dolls are full of themselves. Literally.
Yeah. I've still got to work out what I'm putting on mine yet. So, be the circular motion. Just
Have you zoomed out a bit?
Oh, yes, I did for the Russian dolls. My bad. Sorry, guys. Zooming back in. There we go. Is that better? Told you he's bossy.
And Alex says he has about 3 tons of it dumped on him.
Does he?
It all got burned.
Oh, man. Burnt as in the fire or burnt as in, like, pyrography?
I think it was possibly the fire.
Probably. Poplars, it's a bit like sycamore. It's good all-rounder.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit softer.
It's not too bad to carve either, is it?
No, I've carved it quite a bit and used it on the scroll saw and burnt it. I've done all sorts with it, and it's nice and cheap, but it's also good for doing lots of different things with.
That started to look better now. You've got rid of the oblong in the middle.
Yeah, it will do. It will do. It's literally just as you build things up. Just as you build things up, that's all it is. Just building your layers. It's actually quite dark in there. So these layers will have to be built up as well. Just to give the look on the inside of the eye, down the side of the bridge of the nose, same as that side. That one will have to be, although it's not too much, that one isn't.
Yeah, heating. Not a good wood for firewood, but burn what I can as any form of heating in this house.
We've got a log fire, and we do the same sort of thing when we've got. I mean, it's really good having the wood workshop here, because we do get a lot of scrap bits of wood. But yeah, we do exactly the same, Alex.
Mr. Wayne Bigfoot's joined us. Afternoon, all. Sorry I'm late. I fell asleep.
No, you didn't fall asleep. You've been taking up your decking.
Overexerted himself taking the decking up.
Yeah. Hope you and Valerie okay. It was good to see you yesterday. So we're just adding layers into this nose. Now I'm finding that with this particular piece of wood just here, it's actually easier to bring it down in long strokes. Now, when we did the puppy, I said many, many times to do short strokes because it was a short-haired dog. With skin, you just want, it doesn't matter whether you do short or long, you just need it to blend in nicely.
It's a flatter surface, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just a different texture. Because obviously your skin to touch is nice and smooth, so you just want to make sure that you keep that looking nice and smooth.
Apparently Wayne stopped the decking about 3 hours ago. It left him exhausted.
Right, okay. You have to be careful. So just making sure that that blends in. There'll be a lot more blending to do and a lot more layers to do on the skin. So I'm not worried about it too much for now. Just trying to get the general gist of getting this nose in. And trying to take out, as you can see, like you can see just the little teeny tiny white lines. Can you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the bits that I'm aiming to take out. They're the bits that I don't want there because that's making the skin look uneven or not as smooth as it should be. But sometimes the wood doesn't want to cooperate the way you want it to, like today.
It makes it a longer job.
Yeah, it does, but you just got to be patient. It'll do it eventually. It'll do it. I have no choice. If that was going in the fire. Scrape it off, start again.
Not allowed to.
Why?
It's live. You've got to persevere and get it right.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Not every project goes exactly how you want it to. It's called improvisation. It's my superpower. Just gently shading. Gently shade. Actually, I think I'm going to do a bit more of a circular motion on that one. There we go. Just getting that around that nostril. Making sure I go with the curve that is already there. There we go. And then we can go and take this bit up here and then around there a little bit more. So I've got some lines in that bit there as well. The watches and everything else is dinging. So just trying to blend those lines out really, because we don't want them. We need them to go bye-bye. There you go. They're getting there. They're getting there.
You've got about 12 minutes.
Okay. That's gone really fast this week. Really, really fast. So what we'll do is we'll bring this bit down. And this bit over here so we can get this in, because this bit here where the nose touches the lip, not the upper of the lip, is generally a little bit darker.
Yeah, a little curvature, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just because of where it meets it is obviously always under shadow. So there we go. Putting that side in there and that side in there. There you go. So that's looking very nose-like now. There's lots of shading to keep going with. What I'm just going to do is do this bit under here. There's actually a bit of a shadow coming off there, like that, and then down It's about part way across, isn't it? It's not all the way. There's a little shadow that's a little bit darker there. No, that will probably need darkening down a fair bit. But we're just going to get the general shape in now. There we go. That's it. That's the general shape of that. And it's not where it's going to be. It will not stay like that. It's just getting that in there.
Planning ahead.
Yeah, basically.
Or plotting ahead.
Yeah, he's just plotting the shape in, really. It's not actually anything at the moment, bar just a shape. So there is actually a little bit that comes out of there. We're just going to plot that bit in as well. And there we go. Just add an extra layer on that because that looks a little bit weird. I don't want to leave it weird.
So Britain says Denmark's queen was the longest serving regent after your queen dies. I think that means died.
Right.
She chose to abdicate on New Year's Eve. So not here last Sunday because we got a king and a queen.
Oh, well, it's sad, but then also good for a new generation, I suppose.
Times change.
They do, unfortunately. Nothing lasts forever. I hope it's somebody that you like. Yeah, just bring this shading down onto this upper lip here. There we go. That's looking a lot better now, isn't it? There's still a lot of shading to do, but as we shade the cheeks and that over the next couple of weeks, you'll see that we'll add more depth to the nose and the face. At the moment, it's still looking a little bit flat.
Wayne says, Bitten, we have the Queen of Pyrography here.
No. Oh, dear me. Thanks, Wayne.
And Bitten says it is. They are very friendly to people, and I think he is 53 years old.
That's good. Nice when they're friendly.
And she's agreeing with Wayne.
No, I'm not. I'm not Queen of Pyrography. I just enjoy it and want to share it with everybody.
And teach everybody else.
Yeah, teach everybody else how to do things. There we go. So just plotting in the first layer of that upper lip. This wood seems to just be working with the lines at the moment. There's a lot of white lines, which we don't want, but we will sort that out.
Old Bitten says
As we
the king
go
and
along.
queen go on bike to put the kids to take the kids to school.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Nice that they can actually do that as well. You imagine our king. Well, our king doesn't take his kids to school because they're older, but you imagine him trying to do it, get ambushed. So just colouring a little bit of that cheek while we're here. What time we got left?
Got 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. So just a little bit of shading in there.
Ish.
Yeah, ish. And what we'll do is over the weeks we'll just build up the layers, but that is basically just how we are starting. Like I say, you know, next week we'll just do more shading on the skin, and then we'll add in extra shade as we see fit. Really, it's not always about just dropping one particular thing in and leaving it there. You know, you can add to it. You know, don't be afraid to add to it. Don't be afraid to burn darker if you need to. Just lots of layering. There we go.
You've got all quiet on us, missus.
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to navigate these lines in this nose without going too dark on the bits that I'm trying to keep light.
You're hyper-focused.
Yeah, my brain went into, ooh, let's do that. Yeah, it's just trying to get these lines out. This wood was sanded, and it was sanded to where I normally sand the wood. But yeah, it's just these little hard bits in there. You don't always get them. I think this is only the second bit out of that whole log that we milled. That's done it. So not bad out of a whole log, I suppose.
No, they've been pretty consistent, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been pretty good on this one. Can't complain. There we go. So just getting a bit in on the bridge. There is a white bit up there, but it's not too much, so maybe it'll only need perhaps one layer of burn for that bit there, and then we'll see how that is towards the end. And then what I might do is on that section or a couple of the sections is just go around and add the highlights in with the rubber, and that's all that bit will need. Won't need much. There we go. I think we'll leave that there for this week.
And Bitten says she's looking forward to a new portrait with everything I've learned today. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's pull that out a little bit. There you go. So he's actually looking really well. He looks like he's got a bit of a fat nose there, but we'll sort that out. I think it's just because it's gone over the top just a little bit too much. So next time we'll just bring that down a little bit, and bring the shadow down just a little bit, so it just doesn't quite look like he's got so much of a fat bit up here. It looks like he's been punched on the nose. He's been fighting with his brother or sister is what he's been doing. So, but yeah, no, we'll sort that out next week. Just if we bring that down just that little bit, you can see it'll start looking just that little bit better, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, there we go. 2 eyes and part of a nose. So Well, thank you very much for joining us this week. It's been fabulous to have you all here again. That is basically the fundamentals of a nose, and all you've got to do from there is just add your layers and look for your darker bits on your skin. There's normally darker bits around here and then under where your cheeks are. So it's just about adding those extra layers in, and building up the layers nice and slowly and softly. Softly is always a good key. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, that is basically the fundamentals of wood burning a nose. So hope you've enjoyed yourself this week.
Alex says another nice relaxing hour watching an artist at play.
Thank you. So brilliant. Has anybody got any more questions before we disappear?
And Huey says coming along nicely.
It is. Thank you, Huey. Thank you. It's great to show you guys. I mean, sometimes my brain works in really different ways. So to actually show you all exactly how I do things, yeah, it's actually quite rewarding. Rewarding is the word, I think. I couldn't think of the word, but yeah. But yeah, thank you for listening to me. If you've got no more questions, we will be off now because the kids are going to be shouting for their tea. So we will see you again same time next week, and we will carry on with the shading, and we'll get some of the cheeks in, and start building up some of the layers on the skin.
Start defining the nose a bit better.
Yeah, the layers. We'll add the layers in. Right, guys, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you again next week.
Yeah, take care,
Bye
everybody.
for now.